Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Update Show. We'll update you on both games going on right now, but we have not one but two, and we'll talk about them in just a second. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Trivia question. How many points did the Cleveland Browns score in their first opening game of 1999 against the Steelers? You'll have the answer later in the podcast. Well, it's Monday Night Football Week 2, and we have not one but two games for you tonight. The Browns are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight at Askew Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And they're up 11-7 right now. Uh, they're up 11-7 with 10:44 left in the second quarter. It's a 4th and 2 at the Cleveland 7. And Pittsburgh has the ball. And hopefully the Browns get back, but they're up 11-7 right now. They get one at their lead before halftime. The New Orleans Saints are playing the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they're tied at 6. The Saints have the ball. It's 3rd and 2 at the Carolina 22. So I've got some Browns news to mention. The Browns will look to go to 2-0 for the first time in 20 years with a win over the Steelers tonight. I do think they will get the win over the Steelers tonight. I will give my Monday night picks and score a little bit later. My Browns score. Browns receiver Amari Cooper is active for tonight's game despite suffering a groin injury in practice on Saturday afternoon. Safety Juwan Thornhill, who sat out last week's 24-3 victory over the Bengals, is also active and will make his Browns debut. Both were listed as questionable, meaning they had a 50-50 chance of playing. Cooper warmed up on the field in pregame running routes and high stepping to make sure the groin injury was healed enough to handle the demands of the game. He looked fine executing the drills, even if he didn't run full speed. With Cooper's role as the X receiver, he needs to be able to run and cut to fulfill his responsibility. He'll still likely be somewhat limited during the game, but his presence will be enough to stretch the defense and keep the Steelers off balance. Uh, the Browns' number one receiver Cooper injured the groin at some point on Saturday after the first 20 minutes of practice that were open to the media. He made a brief appearance in the locker room, grabbing his bag from his locker and walking swiftly out of the locker room with no one appreciating him. On Sunday afternoon, there were some thought he might not make the trip to Pittsburgh. He boarded the bus to Pittsburgh in hopes of giving it a whirl. If Cooper had been inactive, Elijah Moore, and now the Browns are up by 11-10, and Pittsburgh's about to kick off with 9:11 to go, and the Browns need to score on this next play. They need to do it. And now, if Cooper had been inactive, as I said, Elijah Moore would have played a more prominent role, and Donovan Peoples-Jones and others would have picked up the slack. But there's no one player on the roster who can replace him. And they would have done so by committee. The challenge would have been to keep Moore in most of his unique roles, also subbing effectively for Cooper. Now the Browns will be able to run the game plan they practiced all week, at least to a certain extent. Cooper, 29, has only missed 4 games in his 9-year career because of injury. The injury is not related to the minor tweak he had at the beginning of camp and the core muscle surgery he underwent in February. It also isn't believed to be related to the injury he suffered in the first quarter of the 20-43 victory over the Bengals that had him visiting the medical tent twice. In that instance, Cooper slipped on the wet grass and appeared to be grabbing his knee, but he finished the game and said on Friday that he was all good. So hopefully I think the Browns will be go to 2-0, and I think they will get the win. And meanwhile, the Steelers are hoping to bounce back from last week's 30-7 shellacking loss to the 49ers. And they seem to get it going. They're fired up tonight, but the Browns are looking to score. It's now a third down with 8:26 left to go in the second quarter till halftime. And the Steelers really want to get the win, but I think the Browns will get it and go to 2-0. We'll talk about more of this in a minute, but right now it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Week 2 trivia question. How many points did the Cleveland Browns score in their first opening game of 1999 against the Steelers? And if you said none, you are correct. The Cleveland Browns scored 0 points in their opening game of 1999 against the Steelers. And I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will most likely be for my Thursday Night Football pregame show on Thursday. And so stay tuned for that. Now, getting back to tonight's game, and New Orleans has just scored, and they're now 13-6. And Carolina's opened up to even their record at 1-0, and New Orleans looking to go to 2-0. But now there's 2:56 left in the third, and it's first and 10. New Orleans at the New Orleans 35, and New Orleans has the ball. And there's a timeout right now. It's 11-10 Browns with 7:41 left to go in the second quarter before halftime. And as you know, this season it's all on Kevin Stefanski. And the Browns looked really good last week in last week's 20-43 victory over the Bengals. And I really do feel that the Browns are going to get the win. I'm going to give you my score prediction right now for the Browns game. I'm going to say Browns 28, Steelers 21. And for the Saints, the Carolina game, I'm going to say Saints 20, Carolina 17. So those are my score picks. And right now, I'm 10-4 on my picks. My brother-in-law is 9-5 right now. And we don't agree on that he's taking the Panthers for tonight's Saints-Panthers game, but we both agree on the Browns game. But I'm taking the Saints for tonight's game. So we will see what happens. If the Panthers win, then we'll end up in a tie. If the Saints win, if they hold on and win this, then I'll win the picks for this week. So we shall see. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Update Show. I'll be back with the post-game show once both of these games have concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.